Shoveling dirt in every hole. Predators to condemn your soul. Watching you and watching me. We're all connected but separated. Misunderstood and so frustrated. A million armies of one have invaded. Watching you and watching me. We live behind glass curtains and act like nothing's wrong. Soon you will belong. I know you're out there somewhere. We've lost you for so long. We wait for you to fall. We will expose you all.
You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. After all that, my microphone button absolutely stuck. And I didn't get to say my whole intro. I read the intro. To the show. All right, here we go. Tell me about it. You know, I'm just it was a beautiful intro, everyone. Maybe that's the way we're going to end 2019 right there. Okay? Because my microphone button got stuck. Son of a gun. You know what? It happens. But, you know, I have someone looking into this entire program here. We're going to have to redo some wiring and things like that. But, God, the intro sounded great. Didn't it, Everett? Rich?
Oh, yeah. That was fantastic.
It was great. It was beautiful. Obviously, the media is just censoring you again.
Yeah, that's it. We're starting this show off on tinfoil. So, of course, this is the final SOR Paranormal Roundtable of the year. And we're joined by Rich Giordano, Everett Themer, UFO historian William Pullin, who has a great pair of beige khaki pants on, and Cryptid Tales host Amber Bekkerud on our YouTube channel. You know what? Maybe it's just emotional because it is the final one of the year, but we're going to have some fun tonight. And you know what? I'm calling 2019 the year that wasn't. And I'm saying that for the paranormal, I'm saying that for the supernatural, and I'm saying that for the UFOs as well. Because what was accomplished? What did we actually see happen? Sure, there was metamaterials. Sure, there was a little fun with the Pentagon. Sure, there was a rehashing of a couple of paranormal shows. But what really happened this year? Was it enough to get excited about, or was it enough to say this was a flop in all paranormal aspects? William Pullin, we're going to start off with you here because you got the great hair and the khaki pants on. I know. We're going to start off with ufology here. All right. There's a couple stories that happened in ufology. We started off the year with former Senator Harry Reid of Nevada coming out saying he's the one who put Lou Elizondo in his place. He's the one who created the ATIP program to look into UFOs. And then in April, we had the Pentagon admit they were looking into it. The U.S. Navy admitted that they were looking into it. And then lo and behold, after a bunch of dubious research, the Pentagon changes its story earlier this month and says, no, Elizondo never ran any sort of program because the program did not function for UFOs. What do you think happened there?
Yeah, I think it was all window dressings. I really think so. I mean, there were no groundbreaking statements being made. There was no definitive explanations thrown out there. It was the same old thing in the UFO world. I mean, every year it's discussed about disclosure. Every year is going to be the year of the UFO. It never pans out. Yes, investigations are done. Yes, announcements are made. I will give the Pentagon credit. They're being a little more open, or at least the Navy is, open about discussing the issue legitimately. So that's a step in the right direction. But they didn't say anything groundbreaking. They admitted their videos are real videos of UFOs. Okay, that means they're still unidentified. So there's no answer there. it's a lot of window dressing in my eyes, and I'm kind of a skeptical guy anyway. But it's window dressing that kind of muddies the waters. It gets our attention away from actually investigating the phenomenon, and focuses our attention on the players that are involved in, I hate to use the term UFO research, or they're part of the community, or however you want to attach them to the UFO topic. That kind of window dressing is not going to get us any answers to what's actually happening as far as what's being seen in the skies. It isn't. It's just window dressing. So nothing was accomplished. And that's the same thing every year. It's every year the same claims are made and same promises are made, and nothing ever pans out. That's the same way every year after year after year. So,
Everett, I want to ask you, one of these years, is Stephen Bassett from Paradigm Research Group going to be right that this is the year of disclosure?
I think anybody can be right if they keep saying this is the year of disclosure. Eventually something will happen. But we just keep pushing it forward. It didn't happen this year. It'll be next year. Every year, it's virtually the same thing. And we've had a few years here where there was the start of something, but I feel like 2019 was one big giant tease.
I thought it was a flop. I thought 2019, Rich, was an absolute flop in ufology. We saw more bickering. We saw more complaining. I think the Twitterverse got absolutely ugly this year with people choosing sides. I mean, we see great work on both sides, but there was a lot of infighting in the community. I just really, really didn't think that there was anything too specific that we accomplished this year in ufology.
No, exactly right. I don't think we have accomplished anything in a while. I think we're all waiting for TTSA to come up with something, and I think the TV show is going to be all about the metals and everything that they found out. So that next season that starts in the end of January or February, what is it going to bring us? Stuff we already know. And that's how the whole year has been. Stuff we already know. Geez, Linda Moulton Howe went as far as to say that the alien autopsy video was real, right? I mean, that's crazy. I don't see how that's real. So bringing up stuff from 20-something years ago. I hear somebody wanting to say something in the background.
Oh, absolutely.
No, I'm agreeing with you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The video is a hox. It's a hoax. It's a hoax of the hoax of hoax. And for her to come out and say that, that's ridiculous, preposterous, uncalled for. It's downright moronic. I could use a bunch of other adjectives when we're on the air, but that's crazy. So I'm agreeing with everybody. It was a flop. Nothing was accomplished in any way, shape, or form. Period.
I just don't
what did we miss out on, Rich?
New.
What did we miss out on?
What did we miss out on? Jeez, I don't know. That's the whole thing. There was a lot of stuff that went nowhere. A lot of claims with no evidence or very little evidence that it doesn't really put that evidence where it should be into the believable range. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. I really don't. I'm thought about that for a while now. What has this year brought us? What has been set in stone? What can we call legit evidence? I just don't know. It's a weird year. The year that wasn't. Exactly.
Maybe it's the year of divisions.
Maybe. We go through that, though, over the years.
Amber, what's your thoughts?
I don't know. It was I feel like 2019 as a year all around was just so weird for every reason, and not just in, paranormal or UFO or anything like that. Like, I found there was a lot of stuff being repeated and things that we already know, things that we have already seen before, and nothing was really expanded on further or broken down further or proved, that, yeah, it was real or not real or what have you. But I mean, think about it. 90s fashion came back into play this year too. So, not everything can go right. But, and that's just it. Like, there was the resurgence of so many shows that went off the air 6-7 years ago. And just because they decided to make another crack at the can and see how it went, and so far it's doing okay, but it's nothing new. I don't know. I was just disappointed with this year.
you know what? We're going to get into a lot more about that with the paranormal and cryptid world and everything like that coming up. And I want to stick with UFOs here for a little bit, because one of the stories that I was quite disappointed in this year was the fact that we saw a lot of people quickly changing sides. We had radio hosts out there, much like what we do here, who were championing the To the Stars Academy, telling their listeners that they would be stupid if they didn't buy into it. That was a couple of years ago. And now they're saying they're the worst plague on ufology since, oh goodness, since probably in the last 50, 60 years. At least.
Yeah.
We've seen the government come into play. We've seen the Navy shoot down government officials saying, yeah, you don't need to know what's going on. Really, you don't. And yet they're elected by the public. There was just, for every positive, there just seemed to be, Rich, a lot of negative that followed. You know? And take that. Mm-hmm. Take Mark Warner being shut down by the Navy when he said, we need more evidence. We need more proof. We need more stuff, and we need more notes. We need to see this. And the Navy said, yeah, we appreciate your offer, but we've given you enough, and go away.
And that's not abnormal for the UFO world. That's just anytime we start breaking down a door, getting close, figuring it out, there's always somebody there on the other side waiting to lock it and not let us in. And that is just typical. I don't think To the Stars Academy, I mean, we're always waiting. Even myself, I'm waiting for the next thing, but I'm not stopping what I'm doing. But it seems like everybody's waiting for them to say what's coming up next. But yeah, about breaking down doors and opening it up to new evidence, it's very hard. People don't understand. The government's not going to make it that easy. Disclosures coming this year, next year, the next 5 years. I've been hearing it every year for 15 years. It's not going to happen anytime soon. It could happen, but man, they're going to make it difficult. People just don't understand. Ufology is a whole ball of wax. And once you unravel it, you got to unravel it all. And it's going to make, I think, the whole planet just crazy. I really do. I don't think we're ready for it, not even close. We got a long way to go. And I think they know that. Or they don't. Or they don't know anything. And they're just really flat out of new evidence themselves, which I don't believe. But you never know. You got to think of all angles.
Everett,
crazy.
Rich brings up a good point there. He says we don't know anything in regards to the government or whomever. Are you buying that? Are you buying that the government or other people in this field don't know what's going on? Because I personally believe they do know what's going on. They just want to get their little dirty hands on it way before we as the public who will be affected by this will ever see what's going on.
I think that people or members of the UFO community, there are some that have a clue as to what's going on. And I think there are some members of the government that know what's going on. But I think there are so many people out there who assume they know what's going on. And then they take their opinions and put them out there as fact. And then you have the government kind of creating some noise along with that to distract people. I mean, how do we know what's really going on? Because when we look at some of these people, and there are people out there that could be telling us the absolute truth, and they get dismissed, they get set aside, but then we have some people out there who just start spewing nonsense or spewing things, saying things without any facts to back them up, and we accept it. Where's the common sense in all of this? And that's just a long way of saying that I think there are people that know what's going on. I just don't think we can figure out who that really is.
William, you look at things from more of a scientific side as well as a historic side to the entire field of ufology. Are we just in this ugly circle that continues since Roswell, or are we closer than we've ever been to trying to figure out what this mystery really is? Are we alone in the universe?
I think we're spinning our wheels. What's happening is all this activity is going back to muddying the waters. Everett's right. There's not much critical thinking. People are accepting claims, accepting information at face value without sitting there cautiously examining, okay, is this realistic? Is this actually happening? They're not doing their homework. So there's all this information flying around, some valid, some invalid, but no one bothers to really sit down and do their homework and look into trying to determine which is which. And the UFO community kind of spins its wheels. We're going round and round and round and not getting anywhere. And you're right, it's been happening since the late 40s. We've been collecting data, collecting sighting reports, testimony, some level of physical evidence, but it's never gotten us anywhere. There have been times where we've dropped the ball as a community. There's been cases where we haven't investigated them in the correct way. We've dropped the ball, as there were. But nowadays, we're so busy infighting with each other. There's so much energy being spent fighting with one another, defending our positions, and then vacating those positions later on, that we've lost our focus on the research. We've lost our focus on actually trying to find out what's going on instead of trying to debunk someone else's claims or someone else's position. So we're just going around and around in circles, and that's kind of been the way it's been for several decades now.
Okay, so what's your theory then on what happened with the Pentagon? Okay, where in April they announced that, yes, they have been looking into UFOs. Then they, in December, retract that statement and basically claim that ATIP has never been a Pentagon program that looks into ufology.
There's several ways to look at it. You could look at it as some form of disinformation or misinformation. I'm not certain about that because the UFO community is good enough at doing that to itself. So there's no real need for a Pentagon, for the government to conduct that kind of operation. The military and the government has had a history of throwing out explanations and then recanting, or claiming they're not involved and then changing their mind, changing their position. And what happened with the Pentagon is reminiscent of that. They made one declaration and stated that, and then they retracted that and changed their story. As to why they're doing that, why it's been done like that for decades, your guess is as good as mine. But it sounded very familiar. When they changed their story, I was thinking, okay, this is reminiscent of a bunch of other cases through the years where the government and the military has changed their mind. They've changed their tune. And as far as the reasons why they're doing that, I don't know. But it wasn't surprising when it happened, not to me.
All right, Amber, your thoughts when it comes to ufology, the way the storylines have been changing, the way that nothing has really changed in this field, the infighting that is all over social media. Is it a healthy community right now heading into 2020?
Just from the stuff that I've seen, and I mean, I'm not one, like, UFOs are not my ground. We've established that. But just from being an outsider looking in on everything, I think it is a very unhealthy situation at the moment because there seems to be a lot of fighting going on, and I don't know what the answer is in terms of calming that down and moving into the new year on good terms and everybody working together. But you get that with every community. There's always going to be a fight somewhere, and somebody trying to disprove others, even if they have solid evidence that they can, shove in your face and say, look, this is what's up. But I think the biggest problem is that right now the UFO community, from what I've seen, doesn't have solid enough evidence. People are bringing things back that are, not real or definitely faked and trying to prove that it's real because they're grasping the straws. Meanwhile, there probably is a ton of actual evidence sitting in somebody's back pocket, and they're sitting there going, well, do I put this out there to the world and be disproven even though I know it's real, or do I take my chances and hope that everybody believes me? But I feel like we're going to fight with that for a little bit longer.
Why do you feel that?
I think it's been an ongoing battle, and I think I've talked about this a lot with a few people, and I think there's so many different ways to look at UFOs and look at what they are or aren't. And so people are missing each other on the level that they're talking about the exact same thing, but because one person's calling it this thing and one person's calling it another thing, they're not connecting on that level to realize we are talking about the exact same thing and we're agreeing on this point, but because we're viewing it as two separate things, it's not the same. So I think until people kind of come to those levels where they realize, hey, we've been misunderstanding each other all along, it's going to take some time to hash that out.
And, you know, I'm on the side of this. One of the things, I love ufology. I really do. Okay. As an experiencer, I want to know what's going on. I don't care about the science. I don't, and I realize that may ruffle a little bit of feathers. I care about learning what's going on to people because I want answers for what has happened to me as well. But the problem that we have is we have too many people who are so focused on the scientific aspect, and this is where William and I will agree to disagree, and I'm quite okay with that because we have a mutual love and respect for each other, you know. But I really could not give a flying you know what about anything to do with the technology. Couldn't care less. I want to know what the hell Carl is. I want to know who's taken me, why I was taken, why friends of mine have been taken. That's what I want to know. And we're not even close to getting into that steps because we want to battle over metamaterials. And we see good people who are very intelligent, smart people in this field getting bashed left, right, and center. All right, because they don't have an agreement with certain researchers, and social media has been a death knell for that. Chris Cogswell is a fantastic example of that. All right, he's burnt out. I've literally stopped, you know, like I was on a real tear earlier in the year about people calling themselves journalists when they have no journalism experience. I'm burnt out of that because unless you were... Yeah, unless you are properly trained, you're not going to understand. You're not going to know what it's like. And there's too many good people in this field right now who are being absolutely crapped on, and there's no way that we'll be able to move forward. Rich Giordano, William Pullin, Everett Themer, and Amber Bekkerud join me tonight on the final SOR Paranormal Roundtable of the year. When we come back, it was a year we lost Stanton Friedman.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Finish off your weekend and kick off your new week with me, Everett Themer, right here on Spaced Out Sundays. I'm going to bring you great guests, a little bit of snark, and plenty of information to think about. But don't worry, there's going to be plenty of woo as well. We are going to hit everything in the paranormal and supernatural, including the odd psychic Sundays. So tune us in on Sunday, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Every night on Spaced Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio, you can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Bekkerud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Are you having encounters with the paranormal, supernatural, or ufological that you cannot explain? Look no further than the SOR Sightlines Report, brought to you by the Experiencers Support Association. This is Ryan Stacy, head of the Research Association, TESSA. Soon on the Spaced Out Radio website, you'll be able to file your reports and have them researched for you. We are independent and ready to help Spaced Out Radio listeners today.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night.
This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between, with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
Looking for something new to push your limits? Look Beyond the Spectrum, a new docuseries featuring some of the best researchers in the world when it comes to everything from UFOs, government cover-ups, and Bigfoot in the forest. Truth seekers like Steve Bassett, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, Richard Dolan, as well as others all chip in to bring their knowledge to you. Beyond the Spectrum can be found on Amazon as well as Tubi TV. Tell us what you think on our Amazon page.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Welcome back to the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. You're lucky enough that my mute button didn't stick this time. It's a Paranormal Roundtable going on. You remember, if you can check out our archives, just because you want to, you can go to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. Don't forget to do a little shopping at the SOR Vault. Join the Space Travelers for $5 a month, and Captain Shirk has your news updated daily. So final Friday of the month and of the year, as we have the year that was on the SOR Paranormal Roundtable. William Pullin, Everett Themer, Rich Giordano, Amber Bekkerud are our guests tonight, and we're going to talk about a legend passing in the field of ufology. Back on May 13th of this year, ufology lost its number one champion, Stanton Friedman. He passed away coming back from a conference in the United States. He had a heart attack at Pearson International Airport in Toronto, Ontario, and could not get home to New Brunswick to see his lovely wife, where they had been married and lived there for over 35 years. Stanton was a Canadian and American citizen. He was a nuclear physicist, one of the biggest critics, yet one of the biggest champions that UFOs existed, even though he had never, ever seen one himself. Rich Giordano, I want to bring you in here for a quick second and kick this topic off. How much did the loss of Stanton Friedman affect ufology in 2019?
As much as it affected it with him here. It's awful. It's really weird. I was just thinking about him over Thanksgiving, and it seems like he's been gone for a long time. I really miss his insight on this stuff. I mean, he's one of those guys who's been around, seen it all, more than we'll ever see, talked to everybody, knows people very well. I mean, he knew so much. It's just like, God, I miss hearing him talk about what TTSA will do next with those medals. I want to hear him say, well, they'll put it on the TV, and yeah, and they'll make money off of it most likely, or whatever, I just miss that. That's how much it's putting a real stinker on ufology right now. As much as he contributed, now we're missing that. Who can take his spot? I don't know. I don't know anybody that could replace him. That's like saying who's going to, replace Nolan Ryan or Wayne Gretzky. It's the same thing. Nobody. Sports analogy, I know. But yeah, we need him. I miss hearing his voice. He kind of gave me a little bit of comfort knowing that somebody may know something I don't know, and he's going to let us know about it. That's what I miss about Stanton. The way he was truthful, the way he actually stood up for the things he believed in. He didn't back down to anybody. And, he did it respectfully. I could learn from that, of course. And that's something that I miss. Somebody going at what they believe very hard, very respectfully, and actually knowing what they're talking about. That's what's missing.
Everett, I want to get your opinion on this with the loss of Stanton Friedman. What's your best memory of Stanton? I know you followed him quite a bit.
Probably my best memory is one of the early times that I saw him. Years and years and years ago. But even originally seeing him and not knowing that much about him or even ufology at the time, there was something about him that he was a good ambassador for the field. He made you want to learn more. He made you interested in these topics, and he kind of drew you in. And I think that that's something that the field is missing with him gone now. We don't have a personality like that can act as an ambassador to the general public, because we talk about these topics like everybody in the world is focused on them. But a large part of the world isn't. And they look at us, or they look at the UFO community, or they look at the paranormal, and they have, their own opinions and their own words that they use, and they're not always positive because there isn't an ambassador or somebody like Stanton Friedman who can go out there and make statements and be respectful and yet defend his position like he can.
I'll tell you, the first time I ever interviewed Stanton Friedman, This was back in our Blog Talk Radio days. And I was paranoid, absolutely paranoid and nervous. And I remember starting the interview because he needed to record. And that back then we did recordings every now and again. And I literally got a hold of him. I said, Stanton, hey, how you doing? We've got this interview. He's like, oh, hey, Dave. And, you know, in his gruff type of voice. And I'm like, okay, you ready to go? Yeah, I'm ready. All right, great. Thank you so much. And I went to do the intro, and I froze. Nothing came out of my voice. The last time that happened was when I interviewed Wayne Gretzky back in 2006. And I was absolutely dumbfounded. So I stopped it and I said, Stanton, I'm sorry. I got to restart this. But I got to tell you, I can't believe I'm on the phone with Stanton effing Friedman. You're Stanton effing Friedman, man. And he starts laughing. And he goes, well, Dave, let me tell you something. I put my pants on one leg at a time, just like you do. So we're going to have a good time here, and let's just chat, eh? Oh, my God. That was the best. Just the best. So that's my Stanton Friedman story. And his eyebrows. I miss his eyebrows because he had those little devil horns at the top of his eyebrows. And there's nobody in ufology who has the eyebrows of Stanton. Nobody, William.
No.
Oh, I agree. And he had the beard, too.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did. You know, I interacted with Stan a lot when I would go to Roswell every year. He was always there. He was a fixture at the Roswell UFO Festival. So I had the pleasure of attending many of his lectures, panel discussions, talking to him at length, because there at the museum, all the researchers are readily available to the public. Anybody could walk up and start a conversation. So he always defended his positions with class. I didn't agree with all his positions, but he always interacted business-like, professional, but cordial, very approachable, very common sense. He's interesting because some of his positions, he was a strong advocate of science, strong advocate of the ET theory, explaining UFOs. I'm more of a nuts and bolts guy. Those angles, those approaches are not in vogue now at all. Yet, he never got pushback for that because people held him in such high esteem. Everybody else gets a little pushback for being too strongly advocating of science or the extraterrestrial theory or nuts and bolts or whatever, however you want to label it. But Stanton Friedman didn't get that kind of pushback because of how much people respected him as an individual, as a researcher. That speaks volumes about him, that he held positions that aren't popular even to this day for the last 10, 15 years of his life. Those positions were not popular, but he never got pushback because of the respect people held. They held him in a really high regard, and he earned that through his work. And I recall seeing him in panel discussions having, let's say, cordial discussions with Kevin Randall. They disagreed on things, but they both have the ability to defend their positions objectively, and that spoke volumes about both of them. But at the end, I saw them shake hands and give each other a hug. They were still friends. They could agree to disagree and move forward. We don't have that now. We don't have one individual that will take the reins of UFO research and be a spokesperson for the entire community. And I don't see that happening because it's so polarized now. I can't imagine one person, wanting to deal with the pushback and the personal attacks that would come their way. And two, I don't know anybody who everybody would embrace because someone's going to be dissatisfied. And Stanton Friedman was above all that. He was above the fray. And I just don't see anybody replacing him anytime soon. That's a shame.
That's probably a great way to put it. You know, I think Chris Cogswell from Reality Paranormal, he's a friend of this show, and we love him around here. And I'm not just saying that because he is friendly with us and has been very nurturing to, our UFO needs and fixes from a reality perspective. But I think if it was anybody, it could be Chris if he wanted to take the ball and run with it. I don't think he does because of the hatred that is going on in this community. And frankly, I think he is quite disgusted by it. And I don't blame him for that. Amber, I want to get your opinion here. I know ufology isn't your subject or anything like that. But I don't want to ignore you on this because your opinion is still quite valid and important as well. Do you feel that there is somebody that you have researched through your Cryptid Tales or just watching on social media that might be able to run with this and make ufology or bring ufology together? Does that person exist right now, in your opinion?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, anything that I really see from that community is like watching all of you guys post on Facebook and through social media and that kind of thing. So that's kind of how I've been able to keep up with it over the last little bit. I don't know. I don't know who would be out there. And I mean, I really wish that I had paid more attention just listening to you guys talk about everything in the last few minutes. Like, you guys are all so passionate about it, and it's like, it makes me so happy to listen to. And well, let me ask you this. Let me change the questioning for you here, my dear. All right. If you were to, as part of that younger generation that is coming up, because you are much younger than us old bastards are speaking right now. I mean, if you wore a pair of beige khaki pants like William does, you got it made in this field. Oh, yeah. You really do. But nonetheless, the point that I'm trying to get at here, and I say that with humor, is we have people out there who are wanting to move this forward, but with the generational gap that we see in ufology right now, how is that even possible? What would your younger generation need, being a social media type of following that you guys look for in everything? I think what would kind of close that gap between us knowing what's going on and the older generation knowing what's going on, or closing that divide that, we've all agreed is there, I think it's just more transparency. I think especially the millennial section and younger we're all looking for that transparency of, these are the facts. This is what's up. This is, hands down, all cards on the table. This is what we've got to work with. We don't really like the whole beating around the bush thing anymore. We've been screwed around enough in everything else that, in certain situations. So when it comes to things like UFOs or the paranormal, we just want the truth and the facts. And, if that means that the government is willing to bring out the facts and actually say, like, nope, these are legit facts. I mean, somebody on Twitter said that, or in one of the chats, that Japan has actually acknowledged that UFOs exist. Great. What's the reasoning behind it? I think that the States is just so on edge with so many things that they'll come out and say it, but then they retract their statements a little bit later because they're like, wait, we weren't ready for that. Because they get bombarded with questions I don't think they necessarily thought through.
I want to ask you this. Do you believe your generation is ready for ET contact and UFO confirmation?
Hell yeah. I think so. I think we're ready for that. I think that's just an extra level of clarification for us. We're in that day and age where we want to know what everybody else knows. So we're always looking for that higher knowledge. And if that means that we get clarification UFOs exist and aliens are real, great. What can we learn from them? I think that's the way that the world is evolving now, is that we're looking to expand knowledge more so. And if that means that we get help from a higher being, and so be it.
All right. Back to Stanton Friedman. And I agree. Does anybody have a comment about what Amber is saying with the younger generation when it comes to ufology? Rich, I know you've been passionate about this subject.
Well, I don't see how they can be ready. I guess certain mindset, yeah, but I don't think the world as a whole is ready. I think we were talking about... I don't think
the world is ready. We might be, but I don't think the world is ready for that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, it's just you don't know until it happens, how ready you really are, because it could be a lot scarier than we know. And I don't know if that's what the government knows, and that's why they're keeping this from us, because maybe they know how scary they really look, what their intentions are, why they're really here. And maybe that's why we can't have disclosure when we want it. I don't know. It's just, Dave, it's hard to speak for another group, but if they're ready for it, then that's great. Let's get more people ready for it, because I don't think we're ready. I don't even know if I'm ready.
Either. Oh, I'm ready.
I know we say we are. I used to say that all the time. I want to be abducted. Come get me. I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but until we know their intentions, Dave, what if they want us for other things?
Well, I mean, you would make a good pinup model in some seedy UFO bar on one of the planets out there. You're a handsome guy, Rich. You could handle it.
Yeah, but that kind of lifestyle, I don't know. I don't know.
Everett will create your music because he's good at that.
Oh, heck yeah. Let's do it.
All right. You talked me into it. Of course. I would love to be that. I don't know. I don't know what to say, Dave.
No, but you're right. It is a scary situation. Everett, go ahead.
I have a question, and this is kind of for the group, but maybe more focused towards William, because he's the historian. We're talking about the idea of this generation being ready for disclosure. But if we look at history, and you have Roswell in the 40s, and then you kind of have Lazar in the 80s, and you got about 40 years there, and then this is kind of, the last couple years has really been active with the UFO community. There's another 40-year gap there. I kind of sort of ready for this. It's going to happen.
Hold on.
What if this is
Everett, you kind of cut out there for a second. Can you give us your question?
Yeah, what if this is sort of a long-form generational disclosure that maybe the millennials aren't going to... We're all going to be exposed to it, but it's really the next gen that gets the disclosure.
I really have no idea. I don't know, because disclosure has been acclaimed. There's been claims of disclosure being imminent year after year after year. And it seems to be a constant regardless of the generation, whether you're talking Generation X, the millennials, what have you, that the status quo seems to be maintained. It's passed down year after year. Nothing happens. As far as what the future holds, I don't know. It's interesting. I guess a final statement about Stanton Friedman observation is Friedman is part of a dying breed, and I hate to use that word dying, but it may be true, of researchers that present the data and their conclusions objectively. They're not trying to validate anyone's belief structure. Alan Hynek was like that. Stanton Friedman, Kevin Randall, Peter Robbins. They present the data. They're not trying to bend their positions to make everyone happy. They're not trying to soften their positions to get invitations to a certain conference. They simply present their data and their findings, period. If people don't like it, well, they just don't. If they do, they do. And they're open to having cordial, objective discourses with people discussing different positions. That doesn't happen now. Now it descends to character assassination too quickly, name-calling. Cordial interactions don't happen. Exchanges of ideas and thoughts and opinions don't happen. So Friedman's gone now. That's one less person that does that. The younger generation of researchers, they don't seem to conduct themselves in that way. They're ready for the next conference to sell another book. Their positions, it's a good thing to change positions according to the data. That's a great thing. But the other side of the coin, you have to be able to defend your positions. And too many researchers simply take a position they believe in, but haven't done enough research to actually back it up. And Mr. Friedman, to use a layman's term, he knew his stuff. I mean, if you ask Mr. Friedman or Alan Hynek or Kevin Randall, who's still with us, how they arrived at their position about a certain case or scenario, you'll be there for hours. They'll keep spewing out the data and knowledge and information. That's all been validated. That's all been proven to be legitimate. That doesn't happen now. And maybe that's just a little side tangent, but Stanton Friedman was one of the few researchers that does that, and that's a huge loss. It's a huge loss.
But what can anybody say that we haven't already heard? I'm kind of hearing the same thing over and over and over, and I think that's what we're stuck in a rut. Like somebody said earlier, spinning our wheels, going back into 25-year-old cases and saying they're real. I mean, people are just digging things up, it seems, just to keep them relevant. Very odd. Odd.
Yeah,
time.
that's the problem. Yeah. They're re-examining old cases that have been proven or disproven or a conclusion has been drawn.
Yeah.
And we're wasting our time re-examining things that happened 40 years ago, 50 years ago. Let's move forward and examine recent cases. But our focus is on the past too much. And it's important to know about the past, but we need to keep looking forward and examining things that have happened relatively recently in time. That way we're able to gather evidence and data that's fresh instead of researching something from the 50s. I mean,
what kind of data do you mean? Like, where do we get this new data?
Well, I mean, witness testimony, physical evidence. I mean, the things that are gathered by different organizations like MUFON and some of the other civilian organizations out there. You know, the past helps us relate to what's being cited now, so that's important. But you're right. If we spin our wheels and consistently examine the past, we may miss something happening now. It may fall through the cracks, and we can't afford that at all.
That's true.
That's right. That's right. Gentlemen and lady, I'm going to get you all to hold on because we are going to go to a break here on Spaced Out Radio. 1 hour down, 2 hours to go in the final Friday of the month and the final Friday of the year, the SOR Paranormal Roundtable with Everett Themer, Amber Bekkerud, Rich Giordano, and William Pullin, and of course yours truly, Dave Scott. Coming up next, the paranormal. Was it the year of Hellyer? We'll tell you right after this.
Are you having encounters with the paranormal, supernatural, or ufological that you cannot explain? Look no further than the SOR Sightlines Report, brought to you by the Experiencers Support Association. This is Ryan Stacy, head of the Research Association, TESSA. Soon on the Spaced Out Radio website, you'll be able to file your reports and have them researched for you. We are independent and ready to help Spaced Out Radio listeners today.
Hey Spaced Out Radio fans, it's John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. Our goal is to make the life of veterans, first responders, and those with rare medical conditions 10% happier. We do this by donating one grant item, ranging from vans to therapy programs to prosthetic limbs, to those who need it most. To contribute to Spaced Out Radio's official charity, head over to chivecharities.org and become a donor today.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the store you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
Hey, this is Canadian paranormal investigator Mike Moore. The third Wednesday of every month, I'll be teaming up with Dave Scott to bring you Ghosts of the Great White North. Each month, we will bring on guests from across Canada to discuss their ghostly encounters. Canada is a paranormal hotbed with stories you've never heard, so we're going to bring them to you. So get comfy on your Chesterfield, grab a donut, and join us, eh?
A little bit of science, a little bit of skepticism. Add a dash of snark and you have the makings of Spaced Out Sundays with me, Everett Themer. Together we will look into the reality of the paranormal with an open eye and rational thought. Oh, did I mention there'll be plenty of woo as well? Your time spent with Spaced Out Sundays will make the night even better. The chat rooms are open, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night.
This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
At spacedoutradio.com, we have a little bit of everything for you to stay up late. So while you're there, check out our SOR Newswire, where our team brings you stories of the weird and strange to the WTF from around the globe. News on Bigfoot, UFOs, paranormal, Darwinian-type crime tales. It's the stories that the mainstream media usually won't touch. Well, we got them all on the SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Hi there, this is Geraldine Orozco from San Francisco's Bay Area Meditation. I invite you to join me the first Tuesday of every month with Dave Scott for Spaced Out Radio's The Spiritual You. In this fast-paced world we live in, it's time for you to take some time for you. We'll cover every possible subject from powerful meditation to healing techniques to your own intuition and spirituality. So come join us for The Spiritual You.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Come hang out with Spaced Out Radio, where we own the night. This is Carl. You can follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, and during the show, use the hashtag Spaced Out Radio to chat with us live. On Instagram, at Dave Scott SOR. On Facebook, give our page a like, Spaced Out Radio Show. SOR archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. Come join us, or I will come join you. See you at your window.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
Get your horns up with me on Spaced Out Radio. This is Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Come tune in to SOR, where you can hear me rock out with Little Brother Is Watching, the official theme song of Spaced Out Radio. And then come on over to bumblefoot.com, where you can find out about my tour schedule, my music, and everything else. Bumblefoot.com keeps you up to date on what I'm doing and the best way to stay in touch with my music and music camps. Sign up for my newsletter at bumblefoot.com, and remember, Little Brother Is Watching.
The Call of the Wild is in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is one of the hottest bars and restaurants in the city. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose will rock you like a hurricane all night long. Great food with everything on the menu at $6.95 near the corner of Nelson and Granville. Get your horns up and come rock with us. The Moose Vancouver, the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hi, this is Amber Bekkerud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel where we store all of the SOR show archives for free. And as an added bonus, every 2 weeks I'm posting brand new content on Cryptid Tales, where I will get into some of the spookier legends and folklore from around the world and tell the stories that go with them. Find us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio and check out Cryptid Tales today. Drop a comment and let me know what you want to hear. See you there.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio. Tonight, I am your host, Dave Scott. Thank you so much for joining us. We want to give a shout out to everyone listening in on KZFX 93.7 FM in Ridgecrest, California, WQEE 99.1 FM in Newnan, Georgia, UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans, KDNF AM 1560 in Dangerfield, Texas, and KDUN AM 1030 in Reedsport, Oregon. On the digital side, hi to everyone listening in on Kingdom of Nye Radio and Revolution Radio. Don't forget, you can check out all of our archives for free. All you do is go to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor and hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam, who's still enjoying the holidays, has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Ebernian. Ebernian is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, do a little shopping at the SOR Vault, grab a great book at We Read the Night. Join the Space Travelers for $5 a month, and Captain Shirk has you all updated on the SOR Newswire. It's the final Friday of the month, final Friday of the year, and of this decade, which means we have the final SOR Paranormal Roundtable. Joining us tonight is Everett Themer, Rich Giordano from the weekend crew of Spaced Out Radio, William Pullin, UFO historian, and from our YouTube channel, Cryptid Tales, Amber Bekkerud. We're going to talk Hellyer here. All right. I think Hellyer is the biggest story in the paranormal in 2019, led by Greg and Dana Newkirk, along with Carl Pfeiffer, Connor Randall, and in Hellyer 2, they've been joined by Tyler Strand. John Tenney, who we're big fans of on this show, has also had cameo appearances in this, about this small town in Hellyer, Kentucky. It started off with goblins and the rumors of goblins running around caves and weird footprints, mysterious people. And at the end of Hellyer 2, it seems like there is something ritualistic going on. I think this is the story of where the paranormal is going. And I think Greg and Dana Newkirk and their team have done a phenomenal job in really expanding the entire paranormal phenomena. Everett, I want to get your opinion on this. We'll kick it off with you here. What do you think about Hellyer? Oh, of course.
I don't want to say anything
Wow. That was a good way to back out of that answer, man. A good way to back up. That was very well done. Very creative, Everett. Very creative. You should be proud of that. You should be very proud of that one right now. Okay, well, I'm a big fan of it. I think it's taken an entire turn because we have for so long on this show discussed the fact that there is something more to this phenomena than just ghosts are ghosts, aliens are aliens, monsters are monsters, and there is no tie in between any of them. And I think Hellyer is pushing that. Yes. I am on mute? No.
Everybody's saying unmute.
There we go. I apologize. Oh, what an idiot I am tonight. This is what happens when you work 2 jobs and you're tired coming out of the holidays. Completely my fault. Okay, so what happened here? Everett backed out. Okay, he flopped. Everett flopped for about 2. It was a 2-minute answer and horrible hosting on my part.
No,
that's twice tonight. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. I am so embarrassed.
It's a Friday night.
Yeah. You have no idea how mad I am right now. You have no idea how mad I am right now.
I have an idea. We have an idea. We do.
Oh, I know you do, Rich. Okay, so Everett backed out. What's your thoughts on this, Rich? Because I need to gather my thoughts here for a quick second.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think the show is well done. I'm very skeptical of anything on TV, but the way they're handling it and the way they analyze the evidence and the equipment they're using, it's kind of refreshing. It's a very interesting way they're doing it, the way the story's being told, what they're finding in the timeline and how they're finding the evidence. The whole thing is very well done. So with that being said, it is on TV, but they seem legitimate in the way they act. I remember when the Ghost Adventures crew first came on and the way Zach Bagans acted, and now they seem more scripted. This, I hope, doesn't turn into that, because I don't want this show to turn. I like the way it is. It's refreshing, and I think other people feel that way. But then I see other people not liking it, and I'm like, how can you not like that? This is pretty good. I don't know, maybe because it's the story, maybe they don't believe in those type of creatures, but I don't know. The way they're presenting it, I haven't seen all of season 2, so I don't know what's gone on, but from what I've seen, it's really good.
No, you know what, Rich, I agree with you. Do you think they are pushing the paranormal to an entirely different level? Because you and I have talked about this many a times, both on the air and off the air, about this invisible thread that seems to interconnect absolutely everything.
The invisible thread to what, though? That's what we're trying to figure out. I don't know. What do you mean? Between reality and what's scripted?
Well,
is that what you're asking?
Yes and no. I mean, the idea that there is a commonality that seems to take place in between the paranormal, cryptids, monsters, UFOs, aliens. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, the commonality. Yeah, it's very similar in every aspect. You get evidence, but it's not good enough. You hear one thing, somebody hears another thing. So that's kind of washing it out. Same thing with UFOs and the cryptids. Hearing Bigfoot is different than seeing Bigfoot. So how do you know you heard Bigfoot? How do you know you saw Bigfoot? Well, I don't know. You have to it's a big puzzle. That's why this is all connected somehow. All this is connected. I don't know how or why, but it seems like the world is more paranormal than it is normal, in my view, especially what I've seen the last year and a half. So, even for me, things have changed. Things I never believed in, now I believe in because it's happened to me. So you never know, even somebody who's been in it for a while, when your belief system will change either. So this is the weirdest thing you can ever study. UFOs, aliens, cryptids, the whole thing. because you have a lot of evidence and yet, nothing. You got nothing. It sucks.
It does suck. Amber, what's your thoughts?
I feel like I may have been abducted this entire year because, like, I had no idea that this was a thing. And I feel like I've been so out of the loop with everything all damn year.
We're going to change you, young lady. We're going to change you.
But with what I have looked at and just reading the About section, and I watched the trailers during our break and everything else, I'm actually really excited to sit down, and I know what I'm doing over the weekend, and actually go through this. I'm really excited. I like the idea of the rawness and, like Rich was saying, like not being as scripted and more documentary style. But again, I'm also so skeptical because of how all those other shows that I grew up loving and knowing have turned to the dark side of television. So I'm really excited to see what I'm in for by watching this. Just like looking at all of the things that they have on their website and the history in the background. And I'm excited. I also feel like I've been living under a rock.
Well, I mean, it's time to cry. I mean, you live on a rock in Newfoundland. So that does.
The fairies do magical things, you know?
Yes, well, it does make sense now because who knows? I mean, you're 4.5 hours ahead of where I am, and that extra half hour will probably, I'm just going to surmise here because I'm that kind of guy. I think that extra hour or half hour that you get really, really sets the tone for.
It really does. It really messes me up sometimes. I have to sit there and actually like count on my hands what I want to call home and be like, okay, what time is it there? Because I can't just subtract 4 hours. And somehow that half hour always messes me up.
It doesn't surprise me. Well, hey, you're Canadian. We'll still take that. All right, William, your thoughts on Hellyer this year?
Yes. I like their approach. They're looking for data. They're looking for evidence. They're validating what they come across. They're going it by step. They're cautious. They're not assuming everything is valid. They're not making random speculations out of thin air. They're making informed speculation. It's a little more of a grounded, somewhat skeptical scientific look at it. The way a police officer would observe a crime scene, they should not have a preconceived notion as to what transpired. They're going to gather the data and decide from that. That's what they're doing on this program. And I use the term program because the majority of the other paranormal shows have been just that, shows. They've been scripted. They've been very loose with the facts. Have they been doing legitimate explanations, investigations, whether you're talking ghost hunters, UFO hunters, whatever the case may be? No, it's a show. It's a show. This looks more like a program, more documentary style. That appeals to me because even though we're exploring the paranormal, we're trying to wrap our heads around what may or may not be happening. It's illogical to make uninformed declarations about what you believe. It's not about what we believe. What can we prove? What do we know? What do we really know? Can
I just say something there, William? One of the things that I really appreciated about the documentary series of Hellyer, season 1 came out in January, season 2 came out in November, was that none of this cast is afraid to say, I don't know what the heck is going on. We're just following the evidence. There's no hypotheticals. There's nothing that is trying to, pawn off, like we see on a lot of these television shows where one of the cameramen farts in the woods and that's a Sasquatch. You know what I'm saying? We're not seeing that. We're seeing the real deal of real. A lot of people may not agree with this, but I think it's real paranormal investigation the way it's supposed to be done. They're trying new techniques. They're trying things to see if they work. They're not saying they're going to work. They're saying we're going to try it out because we have no answers. I think there's a real humbleness to this. And, I think that's fair for the entire community. Your thoughts, William?
I agree. I mean, whether you're talking UFOs, cryptids, paranormal, ghosts, whatever the case may be, whatever angle you want to take to it, it would be a good thing, a positive thing, if more individuals would embrace the idea of saying, I don't know. Too many people claim to know. What do we really know about the paranormal? What definitive statements can we make? Very few. What do we believe? There's a ton of belief structures out there. But what do we know? What can we definitively prove? Very few things. So having the capacity to say, I don't know, means you're going to continue investigating. Too many people claim to know, then they stop looking. They stop learning. They stop searching for answers. They stop searching for more information. They cease to think. People that say, I don't know, are going to tend to want to keep looking and keep exploring, keep trying to find more data. That's only a good thing. It makes no sense to stop looking for information. It's completely logical to keep looking for information. And when you embrace the idea of saying, I just don't know, I'm going to keep looking, that's a good thing. That's a wonderful thing. It may not be viewed like that in the paranormal community, but in my humble opinion, it's a wonderful thing to say, I don't know. Let me look into this. Let me explore this further, then I can come back to you with an informed conclusion, as opposed to just saying, well, I believe this, I believe that. Not good enough. The belief, the standard of belief in UFOs and the paranormal, or what's accepted as valid, is very, very low. We believe everything. That's horrible. Come on, let's practice some common sense, some critical thought, some cautious examination, and wait to declare our positions. Let's find out more data, more information. Let's explore. Let's admit we just don't know and keep looking before we decide to declare that, well, I know this, I know that. That's not good enough. I'm sorry for the tangent, Dave. I'm sorry.
No, I think it's extremely logical, considering when you look at the idea that they haven't tried to enforce their opinions on anybody. And that, to me, has been extremely refreshing through this entire thing, Richard, through this entire series. I mean, that's going back to season 1, where they were just following strange emails and trying to put something together to say, what is this all about? What are we not seeing here? It's classic cloak and dagger type investigation. And I just find it very refreshing that we can finally see something that is paying off in, I don't know what they're making. I don't know if they did this for money or if they did this for their own good just to see where it would go. But I don't take Greg and Dana Newkirk as yes, they make their living off the paranormal. I have no problem with people who do. All right. But I think they are, Rich, really trying to figure out some high strangeness that really evolves around what is extremely telling about the community, about some of the strangeness that is going on. And I think it's refreshing.
What they've done is they sat and watched shows like what we've been talking about for the last 10 years or however long they've been watching. And they're like, if I was to do a show, here's how I would do it. And they're like, well, let's do it. That's how that probably started, or somebody approached them. They had good ideas. And plus his background really makes for good investigating because he knows how to. And it reminds me of the show Dead Files. The cop goes in, the detective who's retired, he gets all the information about the history of the place, and then they bring the psychic in. She doesn't know where she's coming from. I think her name is Amy something. I'm not sure.
Amy Allen and Steve Ducharme.
Amy Allen. And, they go in there and compile the evidence at the end of the show, and it's amazing how it matches up. I don't know if that's scripted, but I don't know if a cop, a detective, like him with his history would want to ruin his reputation if it was all fake. So that show combined, with this show, Hellyer. It's a amazing way, and I think the way it should be done. It's 100% refreshing. It's not just a couple of guys going in there with their new equipment and riling up the ghost or whatever. I can't speak, but trying to intimidate the ghost to come out of hiding or whatever. I don't like that when they do that, but this is something that's refreshing.
There's no cheesy music. Okay, that all of a sudden seems to gain volume when somebody says on television, "Did you hear that? Did you hear that?" No, I couldn't because somebody turned up the music in the audio room.
Yeah.
Hey, freaking men.
Right. The music will be playing, and then the music all of a sudden stops. Well, something's about to happen. It takes away just turn the music off. All right? You don't need to build it up. It's already built up. I'm scared. My God, what do they have to do that for?
I don't know, but
Hellyer's good. No, the way they're doing.
They have me totally captivated. They really do.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying this because I'm trying to promote them or whatever. That has nothing to do with anything. This is God's honest truth out of my mouth. I am so impressed with the job that they have done that I think they have led the way in showing other paranormal teams out there not only where the research is going, number one, but number two, I think they are showing the fact that real type of paranormal documentary or television can be done with success. And they've done it all on their own budget. They have not asked for a dime from anybody. They haven't done any crowdfunding or crowdsourcing. This is something that they have done on their own dime when they get the opportunity. And these people aren't rich. They are not rich at all. Okay? And here they are taking us on this adventure and saying, come along for the ride. Come see what we're finding. What do you think? I don't see any arrogance with that. And I think it's beautiful. And I hope more, a lot of these paranormal people out there who are mocking them or saying that the Hellyer is garbage or Hellyer is not what paranormal investigation is all about. No, it's not. It's better. In my opinion, it is way better than what we have seen on any television show to this date and any other YouTube or Facebook live crap that we see. Hello? Who's there? Is anybody there? Hold on, I got to turn up the music because something's going to speak. Hello?
Yep.
Did you hear that? Did you see that? I don't know. We're going to put you on hold right now as we're going to go to commercial here at the bottom of the hour. The SOR Paranormal Roundtable, William Pullin, Amber Bekkerud, Rich Giordano, Everett Themer continues right after this. We're going to stick with the paranormal topics coming on up here on Spaced Out Radio.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night.
This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
Looking for something new to push your limits? Look Beyond the Spectrum, a new docuseries featuring some of the best researchers in the world when it comes to everything from UFOs, government cover-ups, and Bigfoot in the forest. Truth seekers like Steve Bassett, Dr. Jeff Meldrum, Richard Dolan, as well as others all chip in to bring their knowledge to you. Beyond the Spectrum can be found on Amazon as well as Tubi TV. Tell us what you think on our Amazon page.
Finish off your weekend and kick off your new week with me, Everett Themer, right here on Spaced Out Sundays. I'm going to bring you great guests, a little bit of snark, and plenty of information to think about. But don't worry, there's going to be plenty of woo as well. We are going to hit everything in the paranormal and supernatural, including the odd psychic Sundays. So tune us in on Sunday, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Bekkerud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
From the heartlands of Canada to beards around the world, we know how to take care of you. Fill your follicles with the Mighty Moose Beard Oil. All our oils and balms are handmade and 100% natural ingredients because we care about your beard. And hey, use the promo code SOR2019 and get your Mighty Moose Beard Oil today. You can check us out on our website, mightymoosebeard.com.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
Every Every night on Spaced Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio. You can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
We pass the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Thank you so much for joining us. Reminder, if you missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, do a little shopping at the SOR Vault. Grab a great book at We Read the Night. You can join the Space Travelers for $5 a month. And don't forget, Captain Shirk has all of your news updated daily. We continue with the SOR Paranormal Roundtable tonight as I hit the mic button this time. Yes, they are on. And we are joined by Amber Bekkerud from Cryptid Tales, Rich Giordano from Spaced Out Saturdays, William Pullin, our UFO historian, and from the Sunday show, Everett Themer. We're going to get into a little bit of paranormal television because we've seen a lot of change in paranormal TV where the new or the old is new again, which is kind of intriguing as we now see former teammates, Grant and Jason, dropping the gloves, going at each other in the ghostly realms of the paranormal. Amber, I want to start with you on this one. Whether or not they're together or not, has paranormal television really changed? Are we actually finding anything, or are we still at the, did you hear that? Did you see that?
Well, coming from somebody who quite literally has watched every single episode of Ghost Hunters until they broke apart, and Ghost Hunters International, and probably watched them 20-fold, watching them separately, there's no difference. And there are parts of me that watches the one show and parts of me that watch the other ones. And don't get me wrong, I love the guys all equally and whatnot. But I think after a certain point in time, when you've been doing it for so long, it just becomes monotonous. And it's because you're scripted on television, and maybe not fully scripted, but you're scripted enough that you change and adapt to what the TV stations want you to put out into the world. That are going to get them ratings and that are going to get them views and show them that people are still interested in them versus maybe what your morals are as a paranormal investigator. And I think that's where we've kind of gotten that massive divide in all the paranormal television shows right now that are focused on investigating, because people are just doing what they can for the views. And, people are starting to stray away from actually reviewing their evidence and doing that more. And I know with Grant's revival of Ghost Hunters, there has been more evidence review and that kind of thing. But there are certain times where he says things and I'm like, man, 7 years ago, you knew better. Like 7 years ago, you weren't saying these things. So it really makes me wonder what has changed over time to create that divide when, the answers he was giving 7 years ago about certain topics like demons or interactions or anything like that were things that are widely accepted in the community versus now when he says things and it's like, what? Like, that's not what that means at all, or that's not what, everybody accepts that to be. So I think we've hit a plateau in the world of investigation shows, which is why I'm very excited to watch Hellyer, by the way, because if it's a new take on investigations, that's great for me. And it's why I strive, even with my own show, to make it different and as real as possible. I think it comes with the way that society is going, that they want realism. And yeah, there's still people out there who are going to be, wanting the fun, scare, spook factor and the evidence. But you have to understand that, reality TV is such a huge thing right now, that we just have to be real.
Rich, I want to get you in here. Thank you, Amber, by the way. Your thoughts. Are we almost dumber for the fact of watching these shows these days?
No, not at all. No, it's entertainment, and there's some things we learn from them. That's why I watch. I see the new equipment. I get to see, how people are, maybe they're lying, see what's scripted. I mean, you're learning a lot. And you also learn what to do, what not to do as far as ghost hunting goes. But everybody has their own way of doing things, And you're not going to agree with the way I do it. Some people will, some won't. But that's why there's all these different shows. Everybody's trying something new, which I find refreshing. I don't mind the shows being out there. Put them all out there. I want to see them all because we don't have enough people out there, even if it's scripted or not. That's how I feel. So, no, we're not dumber for it. We're smarter for it.
See, and I would challenge you on that. Because they haven't brought anything to the table. Yes, the technology is fun. Seeing what they're playing with, okay? The toys that they get to choose from. I think that's great. Some of the locations are absolutely stunning and phenomenal. Okay? But you're not solving anything. This is, they're not Scooby-Doo, man. Scooby-Doo, it took 30 minutes. 30 minutes, man, it took them. 30 minutes. They can't even do it in an hour.
It was always a guy in a mask or a girl.
No, I understand that. But what I'm saying
but I know what you mean. Well, Dave, you can't. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I would like to see more of a television type series rather than an event by event. All right.
What do you mean? Television.
I would sooner see them do something like Hellyer. Okay, then I would rather see them going into this location to prove or disprove that it's haunted. Well, guess what? These people called you up for a reason. You have people who have done their homework on, like, when they go to, like, Gettysburg or someplace like that. We already know it's bloody haunted.
Right.
We don't need proof. We don't need proof some Bushy Mountain prison is haunted. We don't need proof that Waverly Hills is haunted. All right? They're not showing us anything new. That's what bothers me.
But the Ghost Hunters, the original, Grant, and when they were a team, that was their intention. They went to go help the families, and right? So that kind of fell to the wayside when they realized, you know what, more people are watching because we got this thing moving. We've got more EVPs, and the evidence became more and more and more, as the years went on. So
but how do you help families if all you're doing is telling them whether or not their place is haunted? They called you because it was haunted.
Yeah, what do you? What Ghost that show did, they would tell them most of the time the ghost isn't evil. It's not going to hurt you. It's it's just doing the same thing over and over again. It probably doesn't even know it's here. But that's what they were letting the families down easy. But I understand what you're saying. Why aren't they solving the mystery of the ghosts? Like, who are these ghosts? Where do they come from? Let's do an investigation. That they do that now. They've had a couple of series where they stayed in the town for a couple of weeks. I can't remember what it was. It was in Boston, though. And now they were back this year, and it was with a different team, but they're staying in the city to find out why the activities picked up. And it's kind of interesting, the history that goes back to guys who were serial killers and, men who were mean to his family. It's just an amazing thing. I wish you're right. They would do more of that, but I don't think it's that easy. I think you have to have a special team. It's got to be entertaining. It takes a lot of money to make those types because they're out there in the field for a couple of weeks. Got to put them up in, lodging and all that. So, yeah.
Everett, your thoughts?
Well, I think we've sort of established my view on the TV shows a segment or two ago, and
the audience didn't hear that. The audience didn't hear that though.
What's that?
They didn't hear that because
Well,
I had the mute button going.
It's probably better that way. Anyway, I have yet to get through an entire episode of either Ghost Nation or the reboot of Ghost Hunters. They don't hold any interest for me. What does interest me, and this is the cynic in me again, is when Ghost Hunters was Grant the one that rebooted first, but
yes.
There was the idea that they were going their separate ways because one was more focused on some other things and wasn't interested in doing a show. Well, then all of a sudden they both have their own separate shows. So when's the ego battle going to start? And how's that going to ramp up what goes on these shows? That's what I'm interested in, because I don't see anything new on these shows. They're not. Oh, and I'm going to get hundreds of emails for this one.
Oh, yes, you will.
They're boring.
Very.
Can I just chime in for a second here and just say that I agree, because I think it's an incredible ploy that Grant has had to, after every episode of Ghost Hunters now, there is a Ghost Hunters review tell-all behind the scenes of past episodes from the first original series of Ghost Hunters with Jason in them, where they talk about the behind-the-scenes things. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but if you need to do that after the new episode of your current show, there's something wrong. We don't care about what happened back then anymore. I don't know. It just puts me off. It really does.
Don't you find it interesting, though?
No, not anymore. Back then, if they had done that back then, sure, hands down, would have been all over it. But I think now, like, trying to relive episodes that I've watched and analyzed 20,000 times,
yeah,
no.
William, your thoughts?
I'm always cautious with these kind of shows. I recall discussing during last year's or this year's Wonderland Festival, I was talking to some witnesses about their UFO cases, and they kind of, in a roundabout way, asked me, how are UFO investigations conducted? And I said, it depends on who you ask. There's no standard. And I encouraged them to watch old episodes of UFO Hunters back in the mid-2000s. I said, you'll learn some things from that show, what not to do in an investigation, such as leading the witness, such as making assumptions that the event is valid. And they got back to me by email, and they said, yeah, you're right. It's just a show. I go, yeah, it's just a show. So this, are people being educated by these new programs? I don't know. I don't think so. I think Hellyer is different. That's distinctly different, the way they're conducting themselves. These old reboots, I don't know. I don't find any interest in them, because when I see them conducting an investigation, and my area of focus is not ghosts, it's UFOs. But having said that, there are certain red flags that I see, and I'm like, okay, is that how it should be done? And when you look at the paranormal field, at least in UFO research, there's no standard of investigations. There's no standard of how to conduct an investigation. That's preposterous. That there's no standard. There has never been for decades and decades. I'm assuming the same thing goes with ghost hunting or cryptid investigations. It depends on who you ask or what organization you approach. So they each have their own way of doing things, and having some sort of standard would help, because then you can compare the data and your conclusions, because you've arrived at them using the same kind of investigative techniques. But we can't do that because it's all over the place. I don't know. I still think they fall into the realm of shows. And I watched a couple episodes, and I found them boring. I mean, they weren't documentary style. They just didn't hold my interest, and it was kind of the same old. Which I guess I would generalize it. The vast majority of paranormal themed programming, UFOs, cryptids, whatever the case may be, tends to fall in that same category. Kind of boring, scripted, not very scientific, not objective, not a real investigation. It's more of a show. There have been very few that have been real investigative programs. And the shows that are being rebooted now kind of fall into the earlier category, just shows. That's all they are.
All right. Well, what about something new? Okay, we've seen Unidentified. We've seen, the TTSA show. We've seen the number of other different shows regarding UFOs this year. All right. Let's get to it. Okay, they're getting picked up because obviously they're getting the ratings. Doesn't matter if they're actually going through people's credentials who say they're investigative journalists when they're not. All right, we see this happening, and you take Unidentified with the TTSA's team with Lou Elizondo and Tom running around the country, and then going to Italy saying helicopters are being blown out of the sky by UFOs, which is clearly not. Where are we trying to lead the public? Are we leading it for ratings, for the money, or are we actually trying to get information out?
I think it's ratings and money. As far as the UFO field, the data does not support the idea that we're being threatened by extraterrestrials. It doesn't. We haven't been invaded. There's no direct military UFO interactions. There's no battles being fought over our skies. There's no land or resources being taken by an invading force. The data seems to demonstrate this as more of an examination of our capabilities. They're examining us when they're talking about abductions, but there's nothing. There's no data to show that they're a threat to us. If anything, we're the bigger threat to them. We're the ones that shoot first. So the narrative they're putting forth in these programs is not supported by the data. The data that's been collected by groundbreaking, objective UFO researchers on the ground, boots on the ground, that have no attachment to a show. In other words, their integrity is not being affected by money or ratings. They're looking for data and information to confirm or debunk UFO cases. That's their job as investigators. They're not affected by money or ratings. But the ideas, the narrative they're putting forth in the shows is contrary to that. So it's just ratings, it's money. That's all it is.
What about Mysteries Decoded? They go back to Roswell after 70 years, tell us nothing new. They don't mention. It's funny because one of the cast members was at a conference with Chris Cogswell in Los Angeles this year. And I said to Chris, I said, you really want to know how much they know about Roswell? Ask them about San Augustine. It's amazing to me that San Augustine was not brought up. That very, very few people, and we talk about Stanton Friedman again, very few people who bring up the Roswell case even talk about San Augustine or know about it. And these are two crashes that happened on the same day. It's disgusting. You can't have one without the other, guys.
Well, you can't, because San Augustine was a hoax. But the information that they put out in that episode of Mysteries Decoded was nothing new. If anybody knew if they had examined the Roswell case in the literature in a very cursory way, just a few of the important facts of the case, there's nothing new they presented. Not at all. They basically gave a summary of the case. That's it. They made an examination of the Ramey memo and guessed at what those words may have been, but were unable to say that word is there. They made educated guesses. It's not good enough. Well, they were just kind of summarizing the case. They're not presenting anything new, not at all. Now, of course, going back to San Augustine, there's researchers that do believe that was valid. I mean, Stanton Friedman felt that was a valid case. I know a lot of researchers, I'm included, that feel it's hoax too. I'm sorry?
The late Art Campbell?
Yep, that's another one. Yep. But I know a lot of other researchers, Don Smith, Kevin Randall, and Frank Kimbler, who appeared on the program, feel San Augustine is a hoax. There's not enough to support the case. So
I interviewed Gerald Anderson twice, who was 5 years old when him and his father, his uncle, and his cousin and brother came across a crash site. Okay, now I realize this is 65, 66 years later, but I believed his story. I believed his story completely, and I do not.
See, I need another witness, another first-hand witness. I need some level of documentation. I need something to really. It can't be just one person. That's not good enough. Again, that goes back to the standard of what do we believe when it pertains to UFO investigations? We believe too easily, or we believe cases that don't have enough data to support legitimacy of the case. We don't. We believe in cases that have a very, very weak amount of data. It's not very full of different chains of evidence. It isn't. And it may be a valid case. In my professional opinion, there's not enough there to wrap my head around that case to believe it's valid. And it may not be connected to Roswell at all. It may be, if it's a valid case, it may be totally separate. We
Rich, just don't know. Rich, you get the final word on this, as we got about just under 2 minutes.
What would you like to hear about how things on TV aren't as, I don't know. I was half listening. I'm sorry. I didn't think you were going to come back to me.
Oh, I'm always coming back.
Hey, I'm just being a little honest.
I'm always coming. Well, let's just be on. With the reality TV shows in ufology that are on television, are we looking at this and with a critical eye? Are we breaking down and giving critical thinking to the information that is put at hand, or are we just accepting people for roles they want to play, like investigative journalists?
Well, I can use unidentified. Okay. The unidentified show. I was trying to scrutinize that and use the evidence that they had reported on the websites and everything else they talked about, interviews. Yeah, you can use TV for that, but it's like as long as you can corroborate it with something that was written maybe on the internet on a verifiable website, I guess, something that's you can trust. I can't speak right now. But yeah, that's it, Dave. I mean, anything that's on TV, I look with a skeptical eye, but I get the information and I try to corroborate it with other stories and see where they messed up and see where they were truthful. That's the only thing you can do. I don't know. It's like I always say, we don't know anything. We only know what they're telling us. So whatever's on TV, whatever's on the internet, I take it with a grain of salt because I really don't see it for myself. And then, a lot of those stories fall apart anyway. That's ufology. That's the paranormal. It's just like the evidence we're trying to capture. It's there 1 second, gone the next.
And it can be scary indeed. Well, You know what? We're going to go to break here at the top of the hour. And we are going to hop out. We're going to get into a little bit of cryptid talk. All right, we're going to get into what's happening in the cryptid world in 2019. Did we solve anything? Late in the year, we learned about Steve Istall, who was on this show just last week. Is he the new face? Bigfootology, as we create a new word? We'll find out more on the Roundtable right after this.
A little bit of science, a little bit of skepticism. Add a dash of snark and you have the makings of Spaced Out Sundays with me, Everett Themer. Together we will look into the reality of the paranormal with an open eye and rational thought. Oh, did I mention there'll be plenty of woo as well? Your time spent with Spaced Out Sundays will make the night even better. The chat rooms are open, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
At spacedoutradio.com, we have a little bit of everything for you to stay up late. So while you're there, check out our SOR Newswire, where our team brings you stories of the weird and strange to the WTF from around the globe. News on Bigfoot, UFOs, paranormal, Darwinian-type crime tales. It's the stories that the mainstream media usually won't touch. Well, we got them all on the SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
For the price of 1 cup of coffee a month, you can become an SOR Space Traveler. The Space Travelers Club is a place where you can interact with other listeners, either live during the show or on our great forum. We want your stories, pictures, comments, and ideas. You'll get live video streams, exclusive content, and be a part of our newsletter. Stay in touch with everything SOR. The Space Travelers Club is just $5 a month at spacedoutradio.com.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night.
This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
Hey, space travelers, this is John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. If you know anything about our website, you know we like to do things a little differently. We're not some faceless organization collecting money for a nebulous cause. Our donor dollars go directly toward life-improving items. Then we give those items directly to an underdog who needs it most. To become a donor with Spaced Out Radio's official charity, Chive Charities, just go to chivecharities.org/donate.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rockin'. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
The SOR Vault is open for business, and do we have some cool swag for you to pick up? All you have to do is head over to our website and click on the SOR Vault. You have a variety of cool logos to choose from, and put them on anything you want. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, coffee mugs, you name it, we can get it to you. So do your shopping by supporting the story you love. Get your Spaced Out Radio swag at the SOR Vault today.
Every night on Spaced Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio. You can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Bekkerud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Welcome back to the third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Appreciate you tuning us on in, especially if you're listening in on UPRN 107.7 FM in New Orleans. AM 1030 KDUN in Reedsport, Oregon. KDNF AM 1560 in Dangerfield, Texas. KZFX 93.7 FM in Ridgecrest, California. And WQEE 99.1 FM in Noonan, Georgia. On the digital side, hi to everyone listening in on Kingdom of Nye Radio and Revolution Radio. Remember, all of our archives are free at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. It is Ebernian. Ebernian is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We got a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, do a little shopping at the SOR Vault. Grab a great book from one of our great authors that we read the night. Join the Space Travelers for $5 a month. And of course, you can always keep up to date with Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. We continue on with the final roundtable of 2019. Everett Themer, Rich Giordano, Will Pullin, and his khaki pants, and Amber Bekkerud are with us as we go down the line and step into the cryptid world. Nothing really solved here in 2019 when it comes to cryptids. However, there has been a fresh new face come on scene. Gentleman out of British Columbia named Steve Istall. Very, very popular on his YouTube channel. He is somebody who has quickly garnered the respect of the likes of people like Les Stroud, David Paulides, for his no-cut answers, basically saying, look, we don't know what this is. I've had face-to-face encounters, and this is not good. We have a creature running around the forests of North America and the world that we don't know about. We're refusing to acknowledge it. Science is refusing to do anything about it. We don't know what anything to do with this creature is, yet we know it's out there. William, I'm going to start with you on this one because you are somebody who comes with critical thinking. When it comes to cryptids, are we looking in the right places? Are we looking in the wrong places? Are we looking for the right evidence? Or are we missing the boat completely, and that's why we haven't proven this creature?
I don't think we're missing the boat at all. I think this is the one aspect of the paranormal that is where investigations are bearing fruit. I mean, do ghosts affect their environment? I don't know. It's hard to capture a UFO or a piece of UFO or a piece of an alien body. But in the case of a cryptid, you can certainly demonstrate that something is affecting the environment. You can confirm that a large bipedal mammal is inhabiting a forest because of the scat it leaves behind, the way it affects the environment, the way it sprays trees. You can tell something's there. There's footprints. So the existence of it has been proven. We just don't have a body yet. And is that a problem? Yeah, it is. But I mean, you can tell somebody lives in their house by the condition of the house. You could tell that a cougar lives in a certain part of Canada by the way it affects the environment, by the way it preys on other animals, the way it leaves its scat behind by footprints. So these confirm that something's going on. So it's a little easier to definitively prove the existence of these cryptids as opposed to a UFO or a ghost sighting or what have you. It's a little more difficult at being kind here. But I think we're looking in the right areas. Again, the scientific community is not comfortable approaching the problem directly, although there are a few notable exceptions to that. But I think things are progressing in a positive way, in a productive way when it comes to cryptozoology. I think it is because you can apply science and bear a lot more fruit than in the other aspects of the paranormal. You can really garner some positive, concrete evidence.
But if we're conducting science and eliminating huge factors because we don't believe in them personally, what kind of science are we actually conducting?
Oh, I'm not mentioning anything about eliminating. I'm just saying that if you're using the science as part of your investigative technique, science alone can't do it. But if you use science as an aspect of your investigation, as far as cryptozoology, it really bears fruit. I'm not advocating eliminating other approaches to it, not at all. That makes no sense. But using science to try to attack the ghost apparition problem has its limitations. Using science to approach and to try to attack the UFO problem has its limitations. But when it comes to investigating cryptids, it seems to bear more fruit. It really does in that field. But that doesn't mean it's just one part of the parcel. It's part of the investigative. It's part of the toolbox, but it's not the end all be all. Not by any stretch.
Amber, I want to get your opinion on this.
Oh boy.
Oh
boy. I don't know. I think having science backing up cryptozoology is important. I mean, in reality, they have to stem from something. It's not like in the paranormal realm where things are created and manifested out of belief and feeling and energy, whereas these things are here. They are physical, they are real, they are a living, breathing thing that live in this world. So there has to be some amount of science that backs up their existence. So I think we have to be very critical of continuing to keep the scientific exploration in, as well as the outside influences and other examinations of what's going on as well. I don't know.
Everett.
I'm yeah.
I listened to William and then I listened to Amber, and my brain wants to explode a little bit here because I agree with both and I disagree with both at the same time. The science is important, but like Amber said, that these are a physical being. Well, what if they're not? What if they are some sort of interdimensional being and they're not leaving evidence because they're coming here and doing whatever it is they have to do, and then they're simply moving to another dimension? Maybe they poop on their home planet or whatever, and they don't leave scat here. And William's right too, that, in a way, science is ignoring this and missing an opportunity. But are they missing an opportunity if it's an interdimensional being? Cryptids used to be one of those things that I stayed away from, and now I find them fascinating because there are so many different directions we can go. Amber said that they're not being manifested by thoughts, but what if they are? What if we are creating them through thought? They're one of those kinds of things that can just go in so many different directions that it's tough to put a finger on all of it. And I think part of the problem is we're not looking at the big picture. Everybody's focused on their one little aspect of it and maybe forgetting about the other possibilities, which is pretty typical in the sciences and paranormal communities.
That's like, I really love what you just said, because it really comes down to my last episode of Cryptid Tales, where I explored the possibility of Santa being a cryptid. Because, and I know it's really out there, but it's one of those things where, how do we not see him, not hear about him, have any evidence that this person actually exists, but we all believe in it to some extent. Bigfoot is one of the biggest creatures that we believe in and, have evidence and have heard, seen, felt, what have you. But there's no concrete evidence to say, yep, here's Bigfoot. There's no body. There's no, solid thing. But yet, here's Santa as well. It's something that's widely believed. We have evidence of it throughout different cultures. Who's to say that he isn't some higher being or alien or cryptid that exists on another dimension, like you said? So I love what you just said. It makes me happy.
Well, good.
Little Richie G.
Ask me, Dave. What do you want to know?
Do you believe that we're any closer to finding the mystery of cryptids?
Maybe. I mean, there's a lot out there, right? But I think by now we should have found out a few of them, right? I think by now we should have figured out Bigfoot, maybe the Mothman. How about the Jersey Devil? People still see that to this day, right? I don't know if we're any closer. It's not my forte. I don't really follow it too much, but I hear enough about it to know that they're having just as much problems as anybody else in the field of paranormal, cryptids, whatever you want to call it. It's just the world we live in, man. Like Bigfoot could be interdimensional. Who knows? Well, so does that mean all of them are? I mean,
let me ask you this, Rich. Let me ask you this. With Steve Istall, who is really, really kind of pushing the limits on, he's taking on groups like BFRO and other groups who've been doing the exact same thing, basically saying, after years of research, they don't seem to have any clue whatsoever to what they're investigating. And he's saying, that people need to be able to understand that these experiences are real. They're very scary for a lot of people. They need to be able to open up their own minds and their eyes that there could be something different towards this creature that we do not know about. And yet groups like BFRO are refusing to even look at these situations. Are we negatively affecting the research because we are not maybe looking down avenues that are so out there in the woo category that we just refute them just because of what they are?
Maybe. I think it's because of the lack of evidence, and that people seem to, I think it goes in cycles. And I see that with ufology. I see that in the ghost world. It just seems like there's something that comes around every 7 to 10 years that'll give people the belief in it, and then it dies off again. And maybe they are not. I don't know if BFRO is doing a good job or doing a bad job. We just don't know because the TV show seems like it's chopped up and not even edited well. So it's hard to go by that group or any other groups. It's just, I don't know, Dave. It's just like anything else. the evidence is thin. And I think people just get frustrated and aren't digging deep enough or doing that kind of research. I don't know. What else can they do that they haven't done? That's what they need to do.
Yes, sir.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, I pretty much said all I had to say. I mean, like with BFRO and those, again, we're all so segmented into the idea that we're going to believe this and disbelieve this and not like this group and support this group. Cryptids are not my forte. They're one of those things I'm very interested in, and I sit back and I look at this and I scratch my head because I don't know what to think. That's the best I can say.
I think there's a lot of people lost on this topic. I really do. Right? We have too many people out there who are having experiences with these creatures. The evidence shows that there is something out there, William. The evidence shows that there is something bipedal, something making footprints out there, something that is causing strange occurrences. At what point, when it comes to an animal or creature or monster, whatever adjective we want to give it like this, do we start looking at some of the possibilities as to why we've never found a body? Why, with all the technology we have in the forest today that we are using, can we not find this creature almost instantaneously? I mean, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah, I mean, admittedly so, there is. Every aspect of the paranormal is vast in proportions. Can somebody be an expert on all cryptids? I don't know. I mean, can anybody be an expert in the entire UFO field? I don't know. I don't think so. Because there's so much information out there. There's so many different aspects to it. It seems like everybody should pick, and I agree with this point of view, is everyone should pick their own field of study, a certain type of UFO study, a sighting, or a certain type of cryptid, or what have you. And that would work if each individual researcher and group would communicate with each other, would share information, so they're all kind of working together, hand in hand, foot in foot, and going forward. That doesn't happen. So that's a problem. With cryptids, I mean, I think my position has always been that I think a certain percentage of cryptids, certainly Bigfoot, let's say Bigfoot specifically, may be attributed to a physical bipedal mammal because it's affecting the environment. Now, clearly, these individuals that have experienced this creature, anomaly, animal, whatever tag you want to use, in a way that's kind of non-physical. Some Bigfoot sightings may be attributed to something that's non-physical. Therefore, it doesn't affect its environment. That goes back to what Everett said. Everett made some great points. But clearly, some sightings, some Bigfoot sightings are of a physical creature because it's affecting the environment directly. Would a ghost or an apparition affect the environment directly? I don't know. So some cases are a little more of a high strangeness than other ones. Other ones, some suggest a physical creature, some don't. Same thing with UFOs. But the search for evidence is very important. It's extremely important. When you talk about UFOs, someone comes with testimony. I never assume they saw something extraterrestrial. I can't. Because one, people do misidentify things. Two, people do hoax things. Three, people see things in the sky all the time they can't identify. That doesn't mean it was alien. That simply means they couldn't identify it. So we have to be careful assuming anything. We can't make random speculations. We have to be cautious and examine each case individually before we make any declarations as to what the explanation was. But with cryptids, I mean, I still think we can gather a lot of evidence and data that strongly suggests the reality of this phenomenon, especially with cryptids, because a lot of them seem to physically affect the environment. That's a big deal to me, and it confirms testimony. But that's not all of that. That's clearly not all of them. So I don't know. It's bizarre, but there's examples in the past of science ignoring the possibilities of a large animal in existence, and later on it was confirmed without finding the body, without finding any physical piece of the object of the animal other than footprints and scats. I can think of the okapi, which lives in Borneo. That's a 200-pound antelope. I mean, science did not admit that animal existed to the middle part of the 20th century. Yet the natives there knew it existed without finding a body at all, but they knew it was there. So the case, that may be the same thing with Bigfoot. You know, we haven't found a body. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. We just haven't found a body. That's it.
Environmentally speaking, we've seen what's happened with other creatures who have been on endangered species lists or creatures that are found in areas. Do you think, William, and we only got about 2 minutes left here before we got to go to break, do you think that because of the environment that there is a lot more to lose than to gain by bringing this creature out, if it is, say, a populous animal that's roaming around the forest? And let's take the woo right out of it.
Yeah. I'm leery about that because humans tend to kill other species, whether for sport or food or what have you. And people got to eat, and I understand that. But the science books are full of lists of species that were killed out and exterminated just for sport. The passenger pigeon, the dodo bird, the great auk, they're all gone because we just want to kill the animal for no reason other than for pleasure. My worry is that Bigfoot, if it's a physical animal, may not be very numerous. It may be a low population. And if you kill one of them in the search for it, then you may adversely affect its chances for survival. I mean, if you kill one individual from a small population of animals, you've immediately affected the genome pool because you have a limited number of people, a limited number of examples to procreate with. And that inherently causes problems with reproduction in mammals. So if Bigfoot is, say you have 10,000 individuals spread across all of Canada and North America, that's not many very individuals. That's not very many of them. So I'm leery about that. But again, some people think we need to confirm its existence with a body, otherwise they won't accept it. I'm not one of those. I feel it's a physical animal that exists in nature. But in the effort to confirm its existence, I would hope we wouldn't send a bunch of hunters into the forest shooting everything else in an attempt to find a Bigfoot. It may come down to that. I don't know. Hope not.
How come the military hasn't gotten together, U.S. military, and tried to find this thing, or have they? Does anybody know? My question would be, why would they? I mean, it's not a national security issue. I mean, I know, but
I mean, UFOs are possibly, but I mean, a large mammal. I don't know. I mean, in that case, the military should go out and probably hunt grizzly bears too. I mean, that's a large mammal. I don't know, unless we're talking about a potentially intelligent animal that may have paranormal connections to some other realm. I can see that. That would be a potential angle for it. So
maybe I chose the wrong words. Yeah,
gentlemen, on this side, I gotta say, hold on, because we gotta go to break at the bottom of the hour. The final round table of the month continues with Rich Giordano, Amber Bekkerud, Everett Themer, and William Pullin right after this on Spaced Out Radio.
You wanted new SOR gear, and now you can have it. The SOR Vault is fully stocked with t-shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs, and everything in between with great logos for you to choose from. So head on over to spacedoutradio.com, click on the SOR Vault, and go shopping. Pricing is quite affordable, and you can look good representing your favorite show. So go to our website and pick up your new SOR wear at the SOR Vault today.
Hey everybody, the SOR Space Travelers is open. For just $5 a month, you can hang out with Dave and our crew privately in our members-only section. With your signing, you'll receive newsletters on what's going on with Spaced Out Radio. You'll have direct contact with the host during the show in our chat, live streaming videos, and a great forum for your posts and more. Become a space traveler now at spacedoutradio.com.
Move over, brother, and let me own Saturday night.
This is Rich Giordano, and I'm inviting you to tune on in to Spaced Out Saturdays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, where I'm going to bust open the lids on everything paranormal. Why? Because we want answers, and I'm the guy who's going to deliver those answers to you. Join the chat rooms, and we'll see you this Saturday. Just be there. No, really.
We all know on Spaced Out Radio we love a good beard and mustache, so why not take care of your facial hair with Mighty Moose Beard Oil? Made in Canada, we're taking care of beards and stashes around the world. We use 100% natural ingredients with our oils and balms to make your whiskers feel silky smooth. Use promo code SOR2019 at MightyMooseBeard.com today.
Every night on Spaced Out Radio, we have places for you to hang out. Hi, this is Carl. Join our SOR Space Travelers group on Facebook for live chat. On Twitter, using hashtag Spaced Out Radio. You can also join us in our Spreaker chat room. Check us out on Instagram at Dave Scott SOR. All of our archives are free on YouTube at Spaced Out Radio. By the way, I'll be watching you at your window until you do. Bye!
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Hello, this is your guitar man, Ron Bumblefoot Thal, and I have to tell you, I love the response I get for Little Brother is Watching from Spaced Out Radio fans. It's amazing how music can inspire and make people think deeper about what's going on in the supernatural world. You can head over to my website, bumblefoot.com, to check out my music, my guitar workshops, my touring, even check out some of the hot sauces that I'm working on. And make sure you keep on listening, because with Spaced Out Radio, you know Little Brother is watching.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for a night on the town? The Moose Vancouver is the bar that never stops rocking until 2 a.m. every night. The Moose has great food with everything on the menu from $6.95 to $8.95. Fantastic, vibrant staff and rock and roll that will bring you back to when the music was real, the hair was long, and the guitars were rocking. Get your party on at the Moose Vancouver, the official party bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
We're adding to the entertainment online for Spaced Out Radio. I'm Amber Bekkerud, and I want to invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and check out Cryptid Tales, where I will take you on a journey into some of the strangest legends and lore from around the world, relaying the stories to you of the strange creatures and experiences that people have had throughout time. You can find Cryptid Tales at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. And while you're there, don't forget to check out our free archives and leave a comment. See you there.
A little bit of science, a little bit of skepticism. Add a dash of snark and you have the makings of Spaced Out Sundays with me, Everett Themer. Together we will look into the reality of the paranormal with an open eye and rational thought. Oh, did I mention there'll be plenty of woo as well? Your time spent with Spaced Out Sundays will make the night even better. The chat rooms are open, 9:06 p.m. Pacific, 12:06 a.m. Eastern, right here at spacedoutradio.com.
at spacedoutradio.com. We have a little bit of everything for you to stay up late. So while you're there, check out our SOR Newswire, where our team brings you stories of the weird and strange to the WTF from around the globe. News on Bigfoot, UFOs, paranormal, Darwinian-type crime tales. It's the stories that the mainstream media usually won't touch. Well, we got them all on the SOR Newswire, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Hey, Spaced Out Radio fans! It's John Resig, founder of the Chive and Chive Charities. Our goal is to make the life of veterans, first responders, and those with rare medical conditions 10% happier. We do this by donating one grant item, ranging from vans to therapy programs to prosthetic limbs, to those who need it most. To contribute to Spaced Out Radio's official charity, head over to chivecharities.org and become a donor today.
We've rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. Want to remind all of you, if you've missed portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, do a little shopping at the SOR Vault. You can also read up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. We'll continue that on Monday night. But we have the final SOR Roundtable of the year, of the decade, and I'm proud to be joined by Rich Giordano from Spaced Out Saturdays, Spaced Out Sunday host Everett Themer, Amber Bekkerud from Cryptid Tales on our YouTube channel, and, of course, the man wearing the khaki pants, William Pullin, our UFO historian.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Hi.
Thanks, Rich. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. No, I was being serious.
I know you were. Rich.
See, even when I joke around, nobody can take me seriously anymore.
Oh, hey, I want to get into 2020 here, guys, because I think it's going to be a rocking year. I have a feeling, and, I'm hoping I am right, that we're going to get a little bit closer to everything. I don't think we're going to solve any major mysteries. I don't see disclosure coming. I don't see us, saying Bigfoot is real. I think the mysteries continue, but I think we see advancement in the fields, all the fields, that after a year where we called out everyone's BS, whether it was proper or improper, I don't see that continuing. I think people are getting worn out. People are wanting to move on, move forward with their research instead of lollygagging behind. Rich, I'm going to start with you on this one. What do you look forward to in 2020 when it comes to everything weird and strange?
Well, of course, I'm very interested to see what the results are of the TTSA metals, alloys, whatever you want to call them. And of course, I'm interested in the new TV shows that are going to come out. Just, the regular stuff, the things that happen this year, maybe they'll have results or next year, I'm having a hard time finding words because I don't really think about that far in advance with UFOs or anything because I take it as it comes because I've been trying to predict it for years and I'm always wrong. But I definitely like to see what will happen with SpaceX, of course, the Space Force. I'm very interested in that. I am hopeful that we have more interstellar objects come towards the planet, our sun. I would like to see if we get any sounds or anything from outer space that could be intelligent. Yeah, things like that, man. I mean, what meteors are going to come crashing into the universe, to the atmosphere? There's so many things. Hurricanes. I mean, all of it, Dave. All of it. Everything that happened this year, but next year. That's about it. That's it. Oh, I am interested in seeing what NASA comes up with. Maybe we're going to go one step closer to maybe going to the moon or getting away from the Earth, other than staying in orbit. I'd like to see if we can extend. I'm interested to see what they find on the moon, see what China might find, or Israel. I think they're going back to the moon. Somebody's going back there. I love the moon, love me Mars, so give me more of that.
Excellent. Amber, how about you? 2020, what are you looking forward to?
Honestly, I think I'm looking forward to just more development in any of the areas that, we're all so fond of. I think just looking forward to potentially more paranormal investigation, maybe more research into less electronically guided things, not necessarily things that are guided by the energy of the area, but things that can be pinged by GPS or anything like that and fed the answers that you want to hear. I think going back to the roots of paranormal investigation might be the better direction heading into 2020. I don't know. I think like Rich said, maybe things that started happening in 2019 will actually start producing results in 2020. I feel like a lot of things started this year, but nothing finished or produced any movement at all. They were just kind of thrown out into the universe and were left hanging. So I think just watching how the research and everything else kind of develops over the next little while, and hopefully getting more television shows that are realistic and less boring.
Less boring. That's the line of the night from Amber. Less boring. Dear Amber, how can I improve Spaced Out Radio? Make it less boring. Thank you.
Spaced Out Radio isn't boring.
Appreciate that. I appreciate that. I know where you're going with this.
It actually isn't.
I know where you're going with this.
What I love about Spaced Out Radio, and I might be biased by saying this, but what I love about what you do with Spaced Out Radio, since I've been a part of it in April, is that nothing is ever the same. Every single show, even if you have reoccurring people, there's always something new to talk about. And I never find that anybody is necessarily repeating themselves too often. And if it is, it's because they're referring to a show previous where they touched on a question or a subject. So that's something that I absolutely adore about Spaced Out. And I think it brings a very fresh new look on everything. And you bring people together who don't view things the same way. So there's not a lot of one-sidedness to this show. And I think that's what gives it its special little mark in the community.
Oh, your check is in the mail. Your check is in the mail. Yes, yes. Oh, yes. Everett sitting there shaking his head saying, oh, you way to inflate Dave's ego a little bit. Way to do that. But
I am.
Everett, what is your thoughts? Heading into 2020, what do you want to see happen? What do you want to see confirmed? What do you want to see changed?
I want to see Project Blue Book come back and base itself on actual events in history and not mess it all up like it has. I'm really interested in watching the developments and see what happens in the rise of AI. I think that artificial intelligence is going to be the story of the next year, above and beyond the UFO aspect of it, or of the paranormal or the weird technology kind of things. I think that the rise of AI is going to be really interesting this year, just from what I've seen. And I'd like to see some of the things that we've talked about tonight, like the whole Bigfoot thing, and I'd like to see some of the little things that have popped up get resolved. I'm not as optimistic as you. I don't think we're going to have those things happen, but like we talked about, 2019 was a pretty dud of a year. So I'm hoping that all of these little seeds that were planted this past year, these little things that we've talked about or that have been mentioned, I hope anything. I mean, 2019 was such a blah year that I will settle for just about any development in some of these fields. And I'm also hoping we don't get hit by an asteroid, because we seem to see a lot more of those coming awfully close to Earth.
Boy, man, you're like a Tears for Fears song on that one.
I'm not sure how to respond to that.
You're sowing the seeds of love, man. You're sowing the seeds of love. Oh, I thought that was funny. Whatever.
Oh, it's that Canadian humor.
That was total Canadian humor there. Total Canadian humor. But I can say this, like for myself, or William, I haven't gone to you yet, have I? No, I haven't.
No, sir.
Okay. Rocket, what's your thoughts?
I don't think disclosure will happen anytime soon. I hope I'm dead wrong, because I'll come on your program and admit, hey, for all the world to say, to hear, I was dead wrong, disclosure happened. But I just don't see it happening. Above and beyond that, I wish the UFO community would get its act together, work together for one common purpose. Whether you're a member of MUFON, whether you're independent, whether you have your own group, it makes logical sense to share all the data, communicate with each other, work together, and try to move the field going forward instead of just spinning our wheels in place the way it's been for a while now. And make the observations about each other a little more constructive, so that they're not misconstrued and they don't sound like character assassinations. So we're taking that constructive criticism to heart to better ourselves, each and every one of us, so that the field moves forward in a constructive way. And maybe someday we can arrive at some answers about what's happening or not happening. I'm hoping that'll happen. I'm making a push here in San Antonio in that direction, bringing together the UFO paranormal groups that all seem to work not in direct competition, but they're not really working together. I'm really advocating and pushing for that to happen in a very direct way, because that's only a good thing. It makes no sense to have all these different groups not communicating with each other. It makes no sense for them to compete with each other. It makes more sense to work together, to combine forces, to combine personnel, to combine resources in one direction, instead of just going off in all these different directions the way it happens now. So I'm hoping that the UFO community will get its act together and we can get the ball rolling in some positive way. We'll see if that happens, but it would only be a good thing. And maybe the other fields can kind of embrace that idea too. So I'm hoping for that. We'll see what happens.
That is just way too much logic for this show, my friend. Way too much logic. We're going to actually have to deduct points from you on this one, because that type of logical thinking doesn't meld well with the woo.
It's because I ironed the pants prior to the show, so that's what it was. Next time I'll leave them wrinkled. Sorry, Dave.
Oh, there you go. There you go. At least we have a solution. No, but I think you bring up some very logical and valid points here, William, when it comes to what we're dealing with in this community. And it's tough. It's something that I don't know if we're going to be able to come together. There's too much ego. There's no rule books. There's no anything that goes, people don't want logic. They want their opinion to be heard, and if it's not heard or it's disrupted, they get louder and louder. We see it all the time in this community, especially in the ghost hunters. We for years we saw it in ghost hunting. We're now starting to see it in the cryptid and UFO world. That if you're not for TTSA, you're going to get ripped a new one. If you're for TTSA, you're going to get ripped a new one, right? And the people who have it. Here's where I see a lot of this happening. You're starting to see a lot more researchers back off. All right? John Tenney's, David Weatherly's, Micah Hanks. That's a good one too. They're all kind of backing off from the online community and saying, go fight amongst yourselves. We're going to go over here and do the work. but go fight amongst yourselves. Now, every now and again, somebody like Tenny, I mean, he likes some good snark. He'll pick a good necktie out. He'll sit on his couch with a coffee and a cigarette. And I love how sarcastic he is, because I get it. And when he works up some of these people on Twitter, oh my Lord, it is pure entertainment. If anybody out there is on Twitter and you're not following John Tenney on Twitter, you're missing out. You're really missing out. The brilliancy is fantastic. It really is. But I think we're going to see a lot more researchers not pull the plug, but back away and start their own private individual research components. I have heard of so many researchers now, in talking privately with guests, that don't want to be a part of MUFON. They don't want to be a part of BFRO. They don't want to support the TTSA, even though they may agree with them. They don't want to support all of these television shows and paranormal attractions. They don't want to. They want to do their own thing. Okay, Greg and Dana Newkirk could be put on that list too. All right, and I think that's the future. That's the future of where we start to see the separation between the big boys and girls clubs and the amateurs. And I hope that continues in 2020. Am I wrong, Ev? Or is that the way it should go?
That's the way it should go, to an extent. But we've talked about pooling our resources so often. What happens when everybody kind of goes back to their own corner and does their own private research? And then, despite all the fighting and name calling, we miss or lose or don't become aware of each other's research. Couldn't that hurt the field in general?
It could very well. It could very well. And I think that's the way it has to go. And I think we see that in 2020. I see the UFO world, blowing up even more, unfortunately. Whether it's caused by TTSA in 2020, I don't know. I see people becoming more recluse. I don't see anything being solved in the ghost field because too many people are doing it. Too many weekend warriors have an opinion, and they're loud and insulting on social media. I don't see that working out. And the cryptid world, I'm excited about, because I think that there is a multitude of brain power that is starting to arise that is going to move it all to another level that we never expected. I think the biggest move in 2020 comes from the cryptid world. What do you think, Amber?
I think so. I think more and more people are getting out there. And I think the rise of people doing urbex and, just getting out into the areas is going to open up the ability for us to get more information on cryptids and creatures out in the world. So, and of course, with the advancement of media, and everybody has camera on them now with their cell phones and whatnot, that I think we'll start getting a lot more evidence of cryptids and anything else that might be out there that we didn't necessarily have before. So I think we're going to get some good UFO or Bigfoot evidence. I think that we're going to get some maybe more solidifying evidence of those creatures that we don't necessarily talk about a lot. And I think the only thing that I ask of people who are going to be doing that is, put the whole video on the internet. Please don't trim it down, so that we can actually get the full picture of what's happening.
Much like Justin Trudeau, you might be asking for way too much there. All right. I know I don't really talk politics here, but I couldn't resist on that one. I could not resist on that one. We're never going to get what we ask for. You know that. Oh, I know. We're never going to get where we need to go. We're like a Cinderella song. Don't know what you got till it's gone, and that's where we're heading.
Yeah.
It is a great song.
And you know for sure you're going to hear about the metals in the next couple of months. So we're going to start off with that.
I agree with you 100% there, Rich. I'm actually kind of curious about that. I really am. I want to see what they have. I want to see what Art's parts and all the other pieces of metal have to say. Because if they are anything sort of alien, we know we will never see them again in our lifetime.
Right.
That's the beautiful, beautiful part. We will never see them again. So Linda got her money. She got her $35,000 for it. And, God bless her. She made a good deal.
Well, let me tell you something about those. If they were alien.
Let me tell you something, brother. If those were real metals, everybody'd be dead, I tell you.
They the government wouldn't allow them to even be photographed if they knew it was real. There's no way those are going to be going around the internet. And no, I'm sorry. They're going to come up. It's just nickel, just 95% nickel, and the rest is just who knows what. That's exactly what's going to happen. And who knows what. What?
They're going to tease you, though. They're going to drag it on by saying they can't understand how this alloy was formed.
Right. How does it stick together? Mm-hmm. Right. Yep. So what? So they can't figure it out.
Peanut
butter. Doesn't mean it's alien.
Doesn't mean it's alien, brother.
Well, I'm going to wrap this thing up, and I want to say this. Everett Themer, Rich Giordano, William Pullin, and Amber Bekkerud, having you guys on the round table as much as we have in 2019 has been absolutely phenomenal. I think each one of you brings just awesome chemistry to this show and what we are trying to do each and every night. Thank you so much for being on Spaced Out Radio's Roundtable, and we will talk to you all, well, before next year, but on the Roundtable next year.
It's always fun to be here.
We'll be here.
Yes, it is.
Always.
We're going to wrap this thing up now. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up, brother. For the guitar god himself, special thanks to everybody listening in at home, at work, in your car, in our chat rooms, the Space Travelers Club on our website, and on Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you for putting this Power Week together with us, because together, my friends, we're watching. We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Rich Giordano, Spaced Out Saturday, tomorrow night. Sunday night, Everett Themer with the Sunday show. I'll be back Monday with Butch Rutkowski. Have a great weekend, everybody. We own the night. Remember that. Yes, you do. You own the night, too. And you, and you, and you. Have a great weekend. Good night.